welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. But today on the show, it is one of our trailer roundups, our first one for the new year. We are talking about movies that are coming out in January 2025 and just trying to guess what some of the puzzle pieces might be just based on the trailers. Jason Harris is with us, as he always is, for these trailer episodes, and we got a lot of movies to cover, so that's coming up here in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at PiecingPod, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where at the time this goes up, you still have a little bit of time to let us know what your favorite movies of 2024 were. We're going to be recording a top 10 list episode, and I always love hearing what everybody's picks are, see if we get some other movies into the list other than what me, Josh Bell, and Jason Harris will be picking in our episode. So before we get to today's trailer roundup, I always also start these episodes out with listener puzzle pieces for movies that we covered in the previous month. And this month, so I actually have a lot of puzzle pieces to read off, but they're all from one listener. So thank you to our good friend Joe Black for sending in a whole bunch of stuff here for me to read off this month. And, for everybody else, send in some puzzle pieces next month so we can spread the love around a little bit. How about that? But yes, thank you, Joe, for sending in a whole bunch of stuff. So let's see. First of all, I've got one each from Joe for two of our episodes. We've got for Night Bitch, he said Jack and Diane, which I remember I did see that movie, but it was so long ago I barely remember it, to be honest. And then for Amelia Perez, he said Repo the Genetic Opera, which, sure. I mean, of course, that fits very well. So then for Y2K, that's where we get really into the trenches here, into the big puzzle, as it were. Joe sent a lot of puzzle pieces for this one. So, and he actually separated them into sections. Oh my God. All right. So I'm going to try to get through all this. So, and we did do a live show on Y2K, by the way. If you haven't checked that one out, you should. But so category number 1, apocalypse movies where a celebrity makes an extended cameo as themselves. He put Mars Attacks, Tom Jones, The Postman, Tom Petty, and Zombieland, Bill Murray. So that works very well with Fred Durst in this movie. Then we get sentient technology massacre movies. He mentioned Virus, Transcendence, RoboCop 2, and Superman 3. I feel like Transcendence just came up on another episode. I don't remember what it was, but Superman 3, RoboCop 2, Virus, excellent. All around great picks from Joe, as always. And then we have Porta Potty Foulness. There's a sequence in this movie where a porta potty, you don't even want to know. Just watch the movie if you're into the gross out stuff. Anyway, 8 Crazy Nights, Ready to Rumble, Jackass 3D, and the 4:30 movie. Lots of disgusting antics in all those movies. And then, last but not least, he threw in The Wedding Singer for the Billy Idol cameo, which, of course, that fits in with that first category as well. So, lots of puzzle pieces from Joe Black. Thank you, Joe, for sending those in. And for everyone else, as you listen to episodes this month, if you think of any puzzle pieces for the movies we covered, please send them in. You can do that on the Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces group, on any of our social medias at PiecingPod, or on our website, piecingpod.com. And with that said, let's get into our January trailers. Jason Harris is back with us for another year of trailers. How's it going, Jason?
Oh boy, another year of trailers. My career's on the upswing.
Yeah, I know this is the thing that we just can't wait to do every month, and now we've got a lot of movies to look forward to.
A whole year's worth, Dave.
Definitely, we're gonna do it. Let's do
100
movies right now. 100.
Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna do the whole year right now. So buckle in, kids. Do you have any New Year's resolutions, Dave?
Oh, New Year's resolution. That's a good question. I mean, it's all music and podcast related with me. I want to finish all these music projects I'm working on. I want to do more live shows, all that kind of stuff.
What about your hog farm dream?
Well, my hog farm is going quite well. So, as you know, you've been a member.
Avid supporter of the hog farm.
So before we get into January's trailers, we got to take a quick look back, see what we talked about in December, see if we actually covered any of these movies and what we thought of them. So first up, I talked about it all year long how Night Bitch was my most anticipated movie of the year, and then it came out and it was fine.
Do you feel like a day bitch for overrating it?
The day bitch. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but not really. I mean, on paper, it sounds like it would have been a great movie, but it was just like a little drama about how motherhood is hard. It was not really much of anything.
Yeah, motherhood is hard. I'll give you that.
Absolutely. We can agree with that. But did you see it?
No, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I like Marielle Heller, but it's just not time yet. I gotta make my way through so many other things.
It was shocking that Amy Adams got the Golden Globe nom. It would be crazy if she actually gets in for the Oscars, it's just not that kind of movie. But, she's still great, though.
Yeah, we can do an episode on how fucked the Oscar season already is whenever you want. So.
Yeah, for sure. So next up was Werewolves, which was a movie based off of an awesome trailer that I was really looking forward to. And also, it didn't blow up, my top 10 list or anything like that, but it was fun though. And it definitely delivered on what the trailer was kind of selling.
Well, in fact, you told me all the best bits are in the trailer.
It's just such a great trailer. And yeah, the movie doesn't do much else with it, but it's still a fun time though. And I would recommend it at least if you haven't seen the trailer, go watch the movie. So next up was Mary, which I think was a Netflix movie.
Yeah, about Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, one of those that we get once a year. So I didn't watch that. I wasn't planning on it. Did you?
I stick all my religious pictures loyalty to Angel Studios. So Mary, you take it somewhere else.
Of course. Next was The Invisible Raptor, which I did see and I did cover on the podcast. Totally ridiculous as it sounded. It could have gotten crazier, but it has a lot of funny moments in it.
Hey, Dave, if an animal was going to copulate with you, what animal would you want that to be?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question, honestly. Why would I want it to be any of them, really? But
I mean, that's the parameters of the question. I'm just trying to give the audience some insight into who you are.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll get there by the end of the year. Next up is Maria, which I still haven't seen. Have you watched this one yet?
I haven't watched it yet. It seems just to be petering. It doesn't seem to have any juice behind it. I know Angelina's good. I'm sure she is. And, we know this filmmaker is good at making the prestige women movies. So I probably will watch it. This is, again, like one that like it's further down the list. And then if it racks up like 8 Oscar nods, I'll be like, all right, it's going back up.
Yeah, it's go time now. So, yeah. Next up is Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. I couldn't pronounce it last month either.
You couldn't.
Yeah, so did not see this. I really, I really like those first 3 Lord of the Rings movies, but as we talked about on Awesome Movie Year and on Piecing It Together, I'm kind of good on the Lord of the Rings stuff.
I would go so far to say as those first 3 is the greatest film trilogy of all time.
It's great. It's great. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're kind of over it at this point. Next up is Kraven the Hunter, which of course I ended up liking. It's so
How did you
stupid.
like it? Everyone says it's so terrible.
Yeah, but
why can't you just admit something's terrible when it's terrible?
I will admit that, the funny thing is, because I also did this with Madam Web earlier in the year, I really liked Madam Web, even though everyone thinks it's so terrible. But Madam Web, I genuinely think there's some great filmmaking in the midst of a very stupid movie. Kraven the Hunter is just dumb all around, and it's just so much fun, though. It's so goofy. And
no one else thinks this. You're the only one. Everyone else is like, no, it's just bad.
I genuinely think
you're missing the fun.
Yeah, I genuinely think everybody else is just, I don't know, they're trying to act as outraged as they can over how this could be so bad. It really, I had a lot of fun, and my dad went with me, and he loved it too, so I don't know.
Do you think maybe everyone else is just like, hey, we're sick of bad superhero movies and not trying to act self-righteous like you're saying?
No, I don't think so. I think that they are self-righteous. Next up is Carry On, which is our most recent episode of Piecing It Together at the time of recording. It's good fun. Good, little fun action Christmas movie.
It's all right. I know some people really hate it. To me, it's like, it's the end of the year. I'm watching all like the prestige movies. So like you're saying, it was good to just throw on something very popcorny. Yeah. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. But like, you want to just watch something where you can turn your brain off and let them take you on the ride. It's not bad. So.
For sure. For sure. Next up was September 5, which I have not seen yet. I know, definitely getting a lot of raves though, and I would like to see it.
Me too. It's getting towards the top of my list there. So.
Not getting a lot of raves is Mufasa, the Lion King, which I don't know. I might go see this weekend. We're recording it the weekend it comes out. It's getting trounced by Sonic 3, which I'm very happy about because I did see Sonic 3 and I loved it. We didn't cover that for some reason last month, but
that's your show, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put it on the list, but anyway, Mufasa not doing too well.
Like we said, the most depressing thing about there's two depressing things about Mufasa. One is just this whole iteration of like, let's just take beautiful animated movies and rip the soul out of them and just make them, shitty live action movies. Like there probably hasn't been has there been any of these? Like I know they're up to like 21. Have any of them been good, or have they all been just the worst?
Well, your awesome movie year co-host Josh Bell just wrote an article ranking them all, but I completely disagree with him though on the Jungle Book. I think the Jungle Book is great, the live action quote unquote remake.
Okay.
But, yeah. Otherwise, I think they all suck though. Otherwise, so.
I mean Barry Jenkins, what a waste.
Yeah,
come on,
absolutely. Barry. Hopefully, he gets a big check off of this.
My hope is like he's like, hey, I had to do it one studio system, see what that's about. I'm going to go back and be Barry Jenkins.
Sure. Absolutely. I would hope that too. Next up is Baby Girl, which comes out on Christmas Day. So I have not seen it yet. And I'm planning on going on Christmas Day, hopefully.
Nothing says Christmas like a cradle robbing lover movie.
That is right. Absolutely.
I'm going to see it too.
Yeah. A Complete Unknown also comes out Christmas Day. I did get to see that on a screener, though. Did not like it too much. I think it just falls right into the thing that we always complain about when one of these musician biopics come up.
But this one seems to be getting a lot of like heat right now.
It does, and I just don't get it because it's like the same thing. I mean, Timothée Chalamet is very good, though. So, I mean, props to him. But the movie itself just feels like the same old, same old.
Dylan. Thank you. Thank you very much. So.
Wow, hey, that was half-hearted, not a usual.
No, it's just nothing. There's a great bit in the We Are the World documentary, The Greatest Night on Pop, where like they're going through like how everyone was singing, and they're like, "We got to Bob Dylan, we thought he was just going to kill it." And he just totally didn't understand what we were trying to do. And then thankfully Stevie Wonder was there and he was like tutoring him on the side. And like, that's the whole way they were able to get Dylan's part done and as Amazing. Memorable as they did.
That's awesome. That's what the movie should have focused on.
That would have been great. I maybe next year that We Are the World documentary will be a narrative film, and we'll all be like, why is this happening now?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Then we had Y2K, which was a live show I did up at Maya Cinemas, and it wasn't great, but it was, it was an all right time. Did you see Y2K?
No, it just came and went. I don't even know if it came and went or if you just did a podcast and that was it. So
yeah, it was gone as soon as I left the theater. And then I was going to do one on Nosferatu, but we kind of decided it was going to be too hard, with Christmas to really kind of schedule it. So I know we both kind of texted with each other that we're going to just forget any screeners and just go see it in the theater.
Yeah. Did you watch the Herzog one yet?
No, I'm hopefully going to watch it actually tomorrow is my plan. So
gotta do it.
So that was our month, and now it's time to get into some new movies.
Man, I was excited. I saw Emilia Perez. I could talk about that, but I guess I'm a month behind on everything now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's hard at the end of the year. Everything's kind of weird. Did you like Emilia Perez?
I liked it enough. I liked it more than you. I didn't love it, but I thought it was a big swing, and I really liked all three of those lead actors. I mean, dude, I definitely think Zoe Saldana and the lead woman, should get noms. She really impressed me, both of those two. So.
Yeah, no, I think I had good performances, and I do like the wild swing of it all. I just thought it was kind of dumb.
Selena Gomez is kind of cementing herself as a neat girl, I think. So
I agree.
Beyond just her $1 billion Instagram empire or whatever. So.
Sure, absolutely. So we start off the new year with Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Fowl on January 3rd on Netflix, which of course continues the whole stop motion feel of all these movies. And this is a diamond thief situation that they get themselves into, and also they have like a robot gnome that turns evil, and all kinds of weird stuff going on. What do you think about this
I
one?
mean, I just am always going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they're awesome. Aardman, we love Aardman, and they
Sure.
don't really miss. So it looks fine, but I don't even. The trailers are almost irrelevant to me. I'm happy, and I think it's like the original, like Nick Park and all them are back to make it. So I mean, look, robot turns evil, Megan, right?
Hmm.
I've mentioned Robot and Frank here, where you use the robot to help you commit crimes. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
there's the kind of revenge aspect of like Wallace and Gromit put this bird away, and now she's coming back to haunt them. And that reminded me of Sideshow Bob and Bart Simpson.
I love it. I love it. That's a good one. Yeah, I also, of course, had Megan on my list, and then I also had the other Blumhouse AI movie, Afraid, that
Yeah.
just came and went, and nobody saw it. But the whole idea of the family becoming too reliant on the AI, and then it's too late at that point. So, yeah, hopefully it's good. Like you said, the trailer doesn't matter with these movies. It's if you like this kind of stop motion stuff, you're gonna want to see it. So. Better Man is up next on January 10th in theaters. This is the Robbie Williams biopic from the director of The Greatest Showman, where Robbie Williams has been digitally replaced with a CGI ape. And supposedly
By
it's great.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves this movie. I'm very excited to see it.
Do you have a favorite Take Five song, Dave?
No, I can't name a single one.
Oh,
So
I
yeah,
can. You
really?
ready?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whatever I didn't mean it. I want you back. I want
Oh,
you back for good.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Good
so
job.
that was
All
pretty
right.
good.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, I mean, again, big swings, right? So I
Yeah.
think this was like you said, everyone likes it. I mean, Billy Elliot meets Almost Famous meets Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I
That.
don't really know where to put the Monkey Man in, but
Yeah.
otherwise, that's where I'm going with it. So.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I of course put Planet of the Apes as well. Also, Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic that takes the traditional biopic that we're always complaining about and does something original with it. So,
Yeah, I was also thinking of the Pharrell documentary, the Lego with the Lego
sure,
pieces and everything. So,
yeah,
but
absolutely,
and we've talked about like this genre is so played out. At least they're doing something, right? Something
exactly,
different. So, yeah.
exactly, yeah. And by all accounts, it seems that everybody who sees it loves the weirdness of the whole premise. So, I'm on
They probably
board.
all love my singing of that Take That song too.
Totally, totally. So, and then next up, Den of Thieves Pantera, which I am super excited about, will be in theaters January 10th and will actually be our first live show of the new year. I just found that out. And Jason, you're going to be joining us on that one, right?
I think so, Dave. Is Den of Thieves the new Shawshank Redemption in that if nothing's on TNT, they'll just put Den of Thieves on repeatedly?
I
Yeah.
don't watch cable anymore, but I imagine this is exactly the kind of movie that would be on TV constantly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So.
hoping for more of this kind of hard-boiled, grindhousey stuff and just dirty and gritty in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was a really fun movie, The First Den of Thieves. And I'm going to rewatch it before we do this show on January 9th up at Maya Cinemas.
Not the 10th. You said the 10th first, but
The
it's the
10th is when
ninth.
it comes out. Yeah, we're going to be doing it on the 9th. And
Cool.
yeah, Gerard Butler, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who was in the first one, but is kind of the co-lead this time around, it seems like. And it seems like Gerard Butler's kind of like forcing himself into the action, into this whole heist scheme. So it looks like it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, so I couldn't tell from the trailer if he really gets fired as a cop or if he's like just going deep undercover, which is
Hmm.
my guess. He's probably going deep undercover there. So
Yeah, yeah,
the king of the B movies right now, Gerard Butler.
yeah.
Um, look, I mean, there's even a scene with the two of them in a diner or a restaurant, and I'm like, man, you can't masturbate to Heat more than these guys have,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Which, by the way, Heat is if you're gonna rip off a crime movie, rip off like the best one
Sure.
ever, right?
Yeah,
So um, Michael Mann, Den of Thieves 3, please. Uh,
yeah.
I put for the setting of these two, the Italian Job and Ronin, like kind of more like European, like kind of high class thieving jobs. And then for my deep undercover movie, I went with the Jump Street series,
Ah, very good. I
21
like it.
and 22.
Right. Yeah, I put Heat as well, and then I also put Snatch as far as Diamond Heist going wrong, and just all the different factions that are after everything that's going on. So, but yeah, I'm gonna probably have to rewatch the first Den of Thieves just to kind of get in on these characters and where they all kind of fit
Yeah, just
together.
put on
Because
TNT at any point in time when they're not playing
exactly.
basketball or wrestling. That's all you can watch. So
Exactly. So The Last Showgirl is our next one. It'll be in theaters also January 10th. This is expanding after it's been in limited release. This is Gia Coppola's film, shot partially or entirely in Vegas. I'm not
yeah,
sure. Yeah, about a showgirl trying to figure out what to do with her life after the show that she performed in for 30 years or something has ended, and it stars Pamela Anderson and her first like big dramatic role basically, and Kieran Shipka is in it as well, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dave Bautista. It looks great.
shout out to my buddy Nick Viella, who was I think the art department head on this one. So
Nice. Right
we went
on.
to high school together. That was nice. And then my buddy Jose was on costumes here. So and then my friend Steven was Batista's personal chef, but never found it opportune to introduce me to him. Thanks for nothing, Steven. Look, I mean, yeah, yes, obviously it's in the name. So you start with Showgirls, right?
Uh-huh.
I went all the way back to Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which we covered on our awesome movie year for the kind of dancery and lifestyle aspect. And then being obsessed with being in that show or doing that type of job, I put Black Swan.
Okay, you went Black Swan. I went with The Wrestler, as far as somebody who has to stop doing the thing. That's the only thing that they know. And then I also put Crazy Heart, which is very similar to The Wrestler, with Jeff Bridges as a musician who's just drinking constantly, and it's
I
just
love
killing
Crazy
him.
Heart.
Great movie. Great
Hey,
movie.
speaking of country music, Dave, I'm obsessed with Waylon Jennings lately. You ever listen to
Hmm.
Waylon Jennings?
I probably would like Waylon Jennings, but no, I've never like dug into albums or
I'm gonna
anything.
just send you this concert that I put on like in the morning when I'm like playing word games or doing work. I'll put on like music, and I found this like concert from 1983 that's like a lost Waylon Jennings concert, and I'm like, oh, I'll just listen to this for a month straight right now. It's so good.
That's great. I might join you at some point. That sounds
Yeah,
really
if they
great.
make the Waylon Jennings biopic, which of course they will, and they mess it up, I'm gonna be pretty pissed at them.
Who plays Waylon Jennings in a biopic? Who do we
Ooh, good
think?
question. Paul Walter Hauser, maybe?
Hmm. I'll watch him in anything, so
I think
sure, why
that's a
not?
pretty good pick. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like big burly. I mean, Glenn. He's too leading man, good looking, Glenn Powell, but like someone who you got like a little a little southern twang to maybe.
What
So
about Gerard Butler?
no, I
No.
mean they look kind of alike. I know that's why you went there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. So
but I guess if you're going to go that way, you could go with Russell Crowe since he was the
yeah,
he's got the band there or whatnot.
yeah, for sure.
I think Paul Walter Hauser was an inspired
That's a good
choice.
one. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. I'm with it. Next up is Wolfman, which will be in theaters January 17th. Lee Winnell, who made The Invisible Man, which was a smash sleeper hit for Universal as far as these Universal monster movies are concerned. He is directing this one. It stars Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner, who are both great. I will say, though, I don't love this trailer. As much as I trust Lee Winnell to deliver something exciting and interesting, it's not the best trailer.
I think you watch it and you just see the name. You're hoping the name Lee Winnell comes up, and Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner are both popping big right now, right?
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the one thing that they did do was like, hey, my husband got infected, Spider Man, and now we have to run to like this kind of like remote place with nobody around, quiet place,
Mm.
But I was also thinking it's a family and they have to live with the person who's going absolutely well, he's infected, so it's not really his fault. He's not going insane per se, but it's very The Shining in that way.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one to include here. I like that. Yeah, I was thinking of it comes at night. Just kind of a you don't know what's going to happen at any point. It just keeps that tension going the whole
I mean,
time.
you know what's going to happen? He's going to turn into a wolf, man.
I know, but they don't. They don't seem to know. So, and then Evil Dead. They're
Yeah,
stuck in a cabin and someone's turning. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm very hopeful this will be good. So we will see. Next up is One of Them Days, also in theaters January 17th. This is Kiki Palmer and SZA. Is that you say her name? SZA? It's like the RZA?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Starring, it's essentially first puzzle piece Friday because that's what it basically looks exactly like.
It does look like it. Like, I mean, the actual look of the movie looks like
Yeah,
Friday. I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it looks really funny, actually. So, I'm kind of hopeful for this. Cat Williams is also in it. Kayla Monteroso Mesha, who is from the last couple seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm, she's in it. It's written by
She's a,
Issa Rae.
she's in everything this month, but
She is.
and she's very good at that. Like, oh, I'm in my own world and I'll say anything and I have no filter and I don't realize that I sound dumb or
Yeah.
but like I wonder what more there is to her.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying
it's a
that in a
bit.
mean way, you know.
It's a bit, but she does it well. So
She's doing it twice
yeah.
this month. She's in another movie that
Yeah,
so,
totally.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this one. So
Well, so I mean, it's like what, like, you know, we have to get the money by the end of the day is the movie, right?
yeah,
So, there's a whole montage of them going out and like trying to find jobs, which reminded me of that portion of Step Brothers, which this kind of wacky relationship as well. We covered Smiley Face on Awesome Movie Year about like a get the money to here by the end of the day type thing.
sure.
And
Yeah.
totally out of left field, Emily the Criminal about because what lengths will they go to find that money? So,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with all those picks right there. I also, to go along with your smiley face, I put Never Going Back, the A24 stoner comedy with two girls. And then, as far as needing rent money, that being the whole plot device, Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. So, yeah, I'm hopeful that this one will be a good time.
what
So,
about BAPS?
I've never seen Baps.
This
So.
is the new BAPS.
Hopefully. So, next up is Back in Action, January 17th on Netflix. This is Cameron Diaz's return to
Why?
acting.
Why is this her return? Like, of all the things.
Hey, I'm sure that this will be number one on Netflix for, 6 months or whatever those metrics are that they just make up.
I have to figure out a joke about it because like there's always like it's always like straight to Netflix random movie, something with Jennifer Lopez, some crappy like My Boyfriend's Trying to Kill Me movie,
Yeah.
and then The Dead Don't Die by Jim Jarmusch or something.
My dad was watching it at Wax Trax the other day. I was like, why are you watching this?
See?
It's number one on Netflix.
Right, exactly. They find like some obscure semi-indie with a few names and then it becomes number one on Netflix. That'd be amazing if Netflix just does like the Jim Jarmusch collection or whatever.
So random, but yeah, it's her and Jamie Foxx. They're, parents who actually are super spies or something like that. Yeah, we do these kinds of movies all the time.
Right. And again, this one I'm like, are they super spies or are they really bad guys? But you're probably right. They're just super spies. There was that one, The Sleepover, with Malin Ackerman and Ken Marino, where she's the secret spy. True Lies, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Nobody, blah, blah, blah. This doesn't look good.
Yeah, not very good at all. But yeah, I put Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Nobody, so we're on the same page. But yeah, moving on. January 24th in theaters, Flight Risk, which I am super psyched about, even though I know we're not supposed to, be excited about new Mel Gibson projects.
Filmed where?
Here in Las Vegas.
That's right here at my buddy's View Studios.
Oh, nice.
I was in there a lot when they were kind of doing that. Yay, right Chuck, my friend
there you
Chuck.
Go.
Doing good work over there. So
Mark Wahlberg single-handedly turning Las Vegas into the film destination, of course.
What is he single-handedly turning a Southern accent into in this movie, though? Why is he doing that? And it's so bad. So.
I can't wait. I mean, we haven't had a good Mark Wahlberg movie in a while, and I feel like this might be it. I don't know. Like, he's just so going for it in this movie.
Well, I mean, look, Mel Gibson, we know can direct, and we know he knows tension and upping stakes. So, but yeah, that accent is like, I think he just watched Deliverance. It was like, oh, I can do that. And then they were like, I guess we're stuck with that now. So,
by the way, it has the best tagline of all time. Y'all need a pilot.
That's pretty good. Y'all need a pilot.
So yeah, he's a criminal being transported, but actually the pilot is also in our
right. There's the female FBI agent who's transferring a witness played by Topher Grace,
right?
So they can testify against the mob, and then the pilot is Wahlberg, but he killed the real pilot, and he's trying to
Right.
kill Topher Grace so that he can't testify against the mom.
There you go. One of those kind of things. So yeah, looks good.
Yeah, and so I just want to say that Flight Plan was shot at View, which is like got the Unreal Engine and the wraparound walls and everything. So if you like the effects, that's like the highest end kind of digital effects that are usable in like a real world setting right now. And if you don't, hit up Chuck and tell him to fuck off. We literally just talked about Carry On, right? But so my other two were Speed, where there's like a bad guy on the vehicle and you have to keep the vehicle in action,
Sure.
keep it in motion. And then another one with the plane, underrated little film 7500, where Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the terrorists on the plane.
Yeah, no, 7500 was very good. I put Con Air as far as, Killer on a Plane. And I also put Plane, the Gerard Butler movie.
It's Gerard Butler month for sure right now.
Absolutely. I mean, it is January, so that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Next one, I know you're excited for your Angel Studios.
Every month, they're really going for it. So.
Brave the Dark will be in theaters January 24th, about a teacher who's trying to help this abused kid who may or may not have done something violent. We're not quite sure what exactly, right? But Jared Harris is a star.
Let me put this on record right now. You mentioned how Josh, our awesome movie, your co-host, did the Disney live action rankings.
Mm-hmm.
He has to rank all the Angel Studios movies. That's got to be an article he does this year. So this coming year, we have to make
Poor
him do
Josh.
that. I mean, is it inspired that like every one of these movies, like 10 years ago, the kid would have been black and it would have been the white savior teacher. And I'm like, hey, it's Angel Studios. We'll just cut out the black people. But they did make that one movie, right?
It's so funny you're bringing this up because I was debating with myself whether or not to mention it. Because, yeah, totally. They have to make them all white.
Well, there was that one movie they did, like Froggy Swamp or whatever, where it's just the whole black family. But, of course, like the one black movie they make is like the poor black folks in the swamp movie or whatever,
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's what this is. That's what this format is, right? So I'll bring it up, Dave. And in that regard, The Blind Side and Freedom Writers. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and I put Dangerous Minds and I put Good Will Hunting to give them the benefit of the doubt. So, yeah, I'm sure neither of us will end up seeing that movie. So
we got to do one.
Eventually. Next up is your Cordially Invited, which will be on Prime January 30th. Nicholas Stoller, who I feel like we haven't seen that name in a long time. Am I wrong here?
What was the last thing he did? I don't remember.
I'm going to look it up real quick.
We had Sarah Marshall, right? That was a while ago.
A million years ago.
Yeah.
Bros. That's right. He did Bros. Okay.
That was bad. Bros was so unnecessarily bad. He did the Muppets ones, and you guys know how I feel about that second Muppets thing. Yeah. I like Nick Stoller, but I'm not sure, the last real good thing he did, I guess, is Neighbors 2014. Neighbors, the first
10 years ago. So,
yeah, because that second Muppets just made me so angry, Dave.
I never did see Bros. I mean, I know some people liked it. I should watch it one.
No, it's just mangled, right? Like they try to do too many things, and there's too much. I think because it was the first of its kind, or supposedly the first, gay rom-com in the Apatow vein. They focus so much on the gay part instead of just like let the story play out. We know he's gay,
Right,
so
right.
It just takes away from the focus. Anyway, I hope he comes back and hits one here. I'm not sure this is going to be it though. I mean, This is Bride Wars at a destination wedding, right? So we double booked. It's Barbarian without all the murder. It's 4 Christmases. It's Ticket to Paradise. I guess I'll watch it with maybe my daughter, but otherwise I'm good on this one. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon have done great stuff over the years, and this is the other movie with the girl from Curb, by the way. But yeah, it just looks like kind of par for the course. But I put Father of the Bride and Anyone But You as options here.
There you
but
go.
Yeah, could be fun, but I don't know. Next up is Dogman, starring Caleb Landry Jones as a trans hitman. Luc Besson.
Wait, I think you got
thriller.
it totally wrong.
I'm joking.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, you got me. Good one, bro. Because we covered that one before.
Yeah, we did cover that one last year. This will be in theaters January 31st. This is based on the hit kids book about a cop and his dog who get in an accident and then they get sewn together into a dog man. It's got Pete Davidson's voice, Lil Ray Howery, Ricky Gervais, Isla Fisher. It looks fun for these kinds of movies, but it is what it is.
Pete Davidson really capturing the animated dog kind of dynasty between this and Marmaduke.
That's right. I forgot he was Marmaduke. Absolutely.
I think, speaking of Josh, in high school, we had an idea. I think it was going to be a comic book or cartoon called Mikey Doghead. And it was about a boy with a dog head, but it was also going to be about his nemesis, Doggy Mike Head, who was a dog with Mikey's head. Nice. I think that's the next level of this thing. But wow. I remember, a movie that I love, The Day Trippers. I think Liev Schreiber talks about like he has an idea of like he's a dog, he's a man with a dog's head, or something like that. So, nice. From the hybrid worlds, I went with The Fly and I went with Sweet Tooth. Probably Sweet Tooth is more apt than that.
I've never seen Sweet Tooth.
It's good. They had 3 seasons on Netflix. Season 1 is good. Season 2 drags a little, but they get back on it in season 3. Right, a satisfying ending.
I put RoboCop for a cop getting killed in the line of duty and then it has to be put back together. There you go. And I put Cats and Dogs, which I don't think I ever actually saw. But speaking of The Fly, Jeff Goldblum was one of the voices. But it's like dogs and cats going against each other. And the cats are all the bad guys and the dogs are the good guys. So
did that bother you, Dave?
No, I would agree with that statement. I mean, I love dogs. I just happen to have 3 cats. So, so... And that's our list. That's our month of movies. So that does it. Jason, is there a movie you watched recently you want to recommend to our listeners?
Oh, yeah. Here's a good one from earlier this year. Dave, did you see The Last Stop in Yuma County?
Yes, that director's doing an Evil Dead.
You're right, he is. It's a kind of nice little, really, hard-boiled 90-minute thriller. Always good to see Jim Cummings, and it takes some wild turns in there, huh?
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I figured you would like that movie. I'm glad you got around to it.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to see what he does with Evil Dead. So
maybe we'll watch it at the activity night on the hog farm.
Right on the hog farm. I got a sloppy seat waiting for you. So
if you buy the large, you get all the extra slop that you want. So
God, Jason, what's going on? You're a very busy man in the new year. What's going on with everything?
Hey man, I guess the big news is that I have a residency now at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. So that's really great, exciting. I'm thrilled. We opened the other night. It will be every other Thursday. So Dave, what day does this episode come out?
This episode will be out on December 27th.
Perfect.
Friday 27th.
So the next one is January 2nd. And then, we're off the 9th. We're on the 16th and so on and so forth. So we're back the 16th and then the 30th, I guess. But that's good. That's ongoing. That's a residency. I'm super pumped about that. Eat This Comedy. Keep going strong. Go for Jason on Letterboxd. I'm still logging movies, Jason Harris Comedy, and all the rest.
Right on. Well, Jason, as always, great to have you back, and we will talk about another movie sometime soon. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about some of the movies coming out in January. Thank you to Jason Harris for joining me on that one, and thank you to all of you for listening. If you're enjoying piecing it together, make sure to get in touch and let me know what you think of the show. You can give us a little 5-star rating and review over on Apple Podcasts or Good Pods or Pocket Cast or Spotify, wherever it is that you're listening. You could drop us a 5-star rating and review. It's a great way to kick off the new year, helping out your podcast that you enjoy listening to, any independent podcaster. We really appreciate your support, and that makes sure that more people will check out the show if you drop those ratings and reviews. So please go ahead and do that. And of course, make sure you're subscribed. And you can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod and join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. So with that said, I'm going to close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And actually, if you've been listening to the last couple of episodes, I have been telling you about a new album that I am putting out in January. So we might as well continue with that, especially since we are talking about things happening in January. I am releasing a compilation album called Missing Pieces 2018 to 2024. What this is, if you've been listening for a while, you know that in 2024, I was doing a thing called 24 for 2024, where I was releasing a new single on the first and third Friday of every month of the year. 24 new songs that had never been released. And what I did is I was thinking to myself, I should, at the end of the year, take all those songs, maybe find a few more like unfinished tracks sitting on my, hard drive and various folders, and find some stuff that felt like it would make sense to finish and turn into finished songs. And I figured it would be like, 3 or 4 bonus tracks or something. And as I started going through the folders, I found 16 songs worthy of getting finished into full finished pieces of music. And so Missing Pieces is a collection of 40 songs total. Those 24 that I released last year as singles and 16 more. 40 songs, all album worthy, awesome music. Just none of it ever fit on previous albums, or I couldn't quite figure out how to finish them, or there's various reasons, and I will talk about it on a special episode at the end of January. But for various reasons, these songs just never quite fit. And now they go from being missing pieces to something that you'll be able to listen to on streaming, wherever you listen to music. And so that's coming up at the end of the month. I'll be talking about that a whole bunch more throughout the month. But right now, let's play a piece from that. This is actually the opening track from Missing Pieces. It's called Again and Again. I hope you enjoy it. We'll be back with more piecing it together real soon.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.